Are you living the Delaware beach lifestyle? You can't live at the beach and do nothing. This up-and-coming year-round area has lots to offer. Find out where to eat, play, and serve. Living the ultimate dream.
Hey guys, welcome to the 302 Lifestyle Beach Podcast. We got Sam Hall in the house. Sam is just amazing. You have got Grab and Go Taco in Fenwick and all kinds of other cool stuff going on that we were talking about. And graduated from Virginia Tech. You immediately started traveling off seasons, and you told me you're a dork who loves reading and crafting, radio, recording. You did radio for 9 years, and you love Harry Potter. So,
yeah.
So apparently we're going to a dating site now, and now
I know. I was like filling out these questions. I was like, "Let me make it weird. Let's make it weird."
Yeah. So, anyways, Sam, you do Grab and Go Taco. Tell me a little bit about how you ended up getting involved with that, and a little bit about how you're even here.
Okay, I'm originally from New Jersey, and then I went to Virginia Tech. My parents were, I was lucky enough, they had a place in West Ocean City. So in between college, I would just come here, waitress, make a bunch of money, and that's how I would live through college. And then when I graduated, my dad was sick. He had lung cancer. So I really wanted to move away and start traveling then. But so a year later, he passed away. So we were able to, that's when I was able to travel, I guess. Wow. So I wanted to stick close by for that. I hadn't intended on staying in the beach area, basically. I kind of stayed back to hang out with him. And then once he kind of passed away, I was like, fuck it, I got to travel. You know, I had this whole life plan. I graduated from, I thought, like a nice university, and I felt like I had to do the right thing, get the 9 to 5. And then going through that made me realize, like, no, that's like not for me. So stayed at the beach. And then the first place I went to, I traveled, we drove from here all throughout to Mexico. We made it down to like Oaxaca area and lived in a van for a few months. And then I relocated to California. So through that process, I had a lot of fresh food, a lot of fresh tacos. And I realized that our area didn't really have that. And I loved our area because I was able to travel all winter, spend all of my money, come back, waitress, basically to the point of like, you know, insanity, save it all up and do it all over again. Wow. And then I kind of,
So now, did you have any background or experience or anything with this, or was it just, you know what?
I mean, not really. I mean, I worked in restaurants forever. So that's how I was able to support my traveling lifestyle. And just like, by traveling, when you go to these remote places, you see the most simple and delicious food and how they kind of do it. And I was just like, why don't we have something like that around in Fenwick Island? So I originally was having this moment where I was waitressing, and it was like, I don't even know. I was having like a quarter life crisis, and I was like, I need something to get my brain going, because then I started dating my now husband, and he was working more throughout the year. So I applied to go to acupuncture, graduate program for acupuncture.
Oh, wow.
And in that process, I just needed one prerequisite or whatever to get in their anatomy. And then the space became available next to Fisher's Popcorn. So I guess backtracking, my husband's family has Fisher's Popcorn. So but we were engaged. We were engaged like when the space became available. So I was like, I don't know. Like I kind of have this plan to do acupuncture. I felt really passionate about it. But then I was like, I'm kind of the person where if something's presented and it's not going to be presented again in life, I was like, I got to go for it. Like, no one's ever going to be like, hey, do you want this space right by the beach and do what you want with it? And I was like, I feel like I have to. And because I can always go back to school. So we just at first we wanted to make it shaved ice because we got married in Hawaii. It's very easy. It's like pretty easy to make some money with some shaved ice.
As soon as you said shaved ice, I thought of the Hawaiian, the real shaved ice.
Exactly. It's so good, isn't it? And the cream at the bottom. So we would spend our winters in Hawaii. My husband had a friend there, so we were able to stay for like months at a time, and we'd love that. And then we also just always made tacos at home, and like through us, me and my husband and I traveling through different places, we just kind of made our own recipes. Side note, my husband went to culinary school, so that helped. Yeah. He went to Johnson & Wales, and it was in Charleston, South Carolina, but it's not there anymore. So he was already like wanting to do recipes and all of that stuff. I was just wanting to kind of do the back end of it, like set it up, the hiring, all that good stuff, the creative kind of aspect. I don't know. We're like a left and a right brain, kind of. So that's how we work.
Yeah, that's the same with me and my wife. She's like, we're just so opposite. Like literally, she's from California, amazing Filipino, and I'm like, this country hillbilly white guy from like Pennsylvania. Like we're just so opposite.
Yeah. That's how it works though, right? It's like, I don't want another baby. My God, that'd be horrible. Like I'm from New Jersey. Talk really quickly. My husband grew up here in Ocean City, and his family has for like generations, which is
super slow.
Really interesting. Yeah. So we are like, yeah.
Very cool.
Like, you just talk a little slower around my grandmother. I'm like, all right, we'll try.
Well, yeah, Sam, that is so. I want to unpack some of that stuff because you said some really cool stuff. So, first of all, I just got back from Nashville. We did a little coaching program down there, and for 15 hours, I straight listened to this guy named Jay Shetty, I think his name is. He wrote this book called I forget it. It's something about live like a monk or think like a monk or something like that. And he dove really deep into people grow up and they have this mentality that they need to do the same thing for the rest of their lives, or go to school and you have to do what your parents wanted you to do, or whatever that concept is for you. And he said that like throughout life, our minds and our bodies and everything changes in our environment, and we'll get little nudges, like our little gut will say, hey, do this. Hey, you want to do this or do that. And sometimes we feel like we have to stop that we can't just be these creative geniuses, that just love doing everything.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it until you're older. You're like, man, I shouldn't have said no to all that stuff. And it's just so cool that you're like, I hear this voice in my head and I'm going to just do it.
Yeah, I didn't say no. But I was in an interesting situation. So the year I graduated from Virginia Tech was when the 32 people were shot by one of our classmates.
Oh my God.
So that was like horrible. That was a horrible way to graduate. Our graduation was kind of like
wait.
a service.
It was that year?
Yeah, that was my senior year.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
We all experienced that, and it was just so sad. So our graduation was just literally this vigil. It was a memorial service, and it was necessary, but it was also so it was just sad. And the main, the whole university, it's like pretty big. It's in Lane Stadium. But then we have our individual college graduations, and we had like 2 or 3 people that were shot, so they were going up there like all taped up, and it was just like it was gnarly. And my family planned to come down. Yeah, and they were like, let's celebrate, but none of us felt kind of like celebrating. So just my mom, my dad came down and whatever. And then my dad was at that time feeling really good. He had lung cancer and he'd like kind of kicked it. And it was like this great time. We had this beautiful graduation, just like it, because it was special. It was just like my mom and my dad, well, my stepdad, but I call my dad, whatever. And then right after graduation, then his lung cancer kicked in again. And within the year, he passed away. So I just had like a lot of like boom, boom, boom. So I was like, okay, so you can go to school in like the safest place ever in the middle of a farm field. Like you're surrounded by pastures and you can die like that. And then even like when people were rushing to get off campus, if like this one person got in a car accident on the way to go to their mother and died in the car accident. So it's like, okay, that can happen. And then a year later, my dad passed away from cancer in this like slow, horrible way. And I was like, okay, and he really waited till he retired to start living. That's why they had that house in West Ocean City. And like that was his dream, was to work at Home Depot and like live here in golf. So he never really got to do that, which was so sad for me. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like time is not planned. Like it's not guaranteed. It can be taken left, right, and center. So just do the things you want to now, because watching him die, he was so sad he didn't get to do that stuff. And then I think about the young people who were just shot, and it's like, so it just really gave me an extra like whoosh, I was in an interesting situation.
Yeah. And like hearing this, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine. And it's like, it's so traumatic. Right. And I think you're bringing up like some of the most, this is like real life discussion, because I think we all have that thing in our life where it's like, oh my gosh, this was so chaotic and so crazy or so traumatizing. And I kind of laughed there for a second when you were describing it, but it's not a funny situation.
No, you have to listen, I'm all about making laughter out of like terrible things, because that's the only way you get through it. Like we've all, like you said, we all are affected by people with cancer. We've probably all known somebody who was killed unnecessarily. So we all have people who have like addiction problems. Like that's like just like normal stuff. And I'm so sick of people acting like it's not, you know what I mean? It doesn't make it better. Like, let's not all be all fucked up all the time, but like be kind to one another. People are going through shit, and always trust that gut. That's what I went on that rampage though, because I always trust my gut. Like my head is a mess. So when I feel something strongly in my gut, that's what I go for. That's like when the taco stand, when that space became available, my gut was telling me, my head and my heart was like, stay in school. Do you really want to open a restaurant? Like, what is wrong with you? I was like, had that gut feeling. I'm like, I just got to go for it. So,
well, I mean, this is really good because, and I think too, like if someone's listening right now and you're just researching the area and you're thinking about moving to the beach, we came here from Las Vegas and it's super chaotic and just busy and traffic. I mean, we complain about 5 minutes of traffic here, but it was like an hour to work, an hour back every day, just from traffic. And, if you're having that nudge or you're visiting or you're, doing whatever you're doing and you have that feeling like, man, there's just some calling, bringing you to the beach. I'm with Sam, man. I say just jump on it, just do it, and especially if you don't like your life.
There's no right time to do shit that you want to do. You know what I mean? Like I have friends. I never thought we even wanted to have children. Don't tell them. I mean, you can tell them. I just didn't know. We kind of like left it up to the universe. A couple of years, nothing happened. Then all of a sudden, bam! And I was like, whoa! Looks like we're having a baby. You just kind of have to go with things. I don't know. Things happen the way they do, and the more you plan, the more stressed out you get. I'm pretty type A, so if I plan, it doesn't work out, it really bothers me. So I've just had to like let go of. It's more so organized chaos instead of like have to do this versus, because really, if you have this plan and then something interjects in the middle, it's awesome. Go this way. It's like
well, school
roadmap, I guess.
Yeah, and school like teaches you, 9 to 5, do this, do that, which probably was created by corporations and okay.
I know, I didn't want that. I was like, oh my God, I did not want that. Like, what did I go to school for? I was like, I just drank a lot and I studied abroad and it was awesome. So I was a communications major. Like I think I'm using the communications degree for the first time, like right now, talking to you through a communication school.
Oh, great transition. So, okay. Well, first of all, I want to still talk about Grab and Go Taco a little bit. So, you had all this experience, you went to school, you did all these things. We'll talk about the radio for a little bit, but then you got into Grab and Go Taco. It was life kind of brought you this golden nugget. So what was one of your biggest lessons that you learned diving into business that you've never been into? What was one of your biggest lessons through this Grab and Go Taco experience?
So many. Get knocked down 7, get up 8. You're going to get it knocked down every which way. It was so, it was offensive when at first, because my husband's family does have Fisher's popcorn. So people are like, oh, your husband gave you a taco stand to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, does anyone know what it takes to open a restaurant? It is so stressful. And if anyone does it for a hobby, I'm just saying that right now, because it's a lot of work. Do you do restaurants for fun?
Not restaurants. I just love businesses and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, for sure. And working in a restaurant, that's fun, but owning one is like a whole ball game change. It was like, I hadn't had kids, but now that I do, it was literally like having a child. Like you read the books, you think like, oh, okay, cool, I got this, whatever. And then you get this and then you're like, what is going on? It's like reading a book about war and you're like, yeah, cool, got it. War, this, you see pictures, drawings, sure, that will happen. And then you get into the war and you're like in the corner and you're like, I don't remember anything that book told me. And now I'm just like surviving.
I think you stated the most real, statement about business ownership than anyone else.
It is. People think it's like so awesome, and it is awesome, but it is going to really show you what you got going inside of yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
So you can do it. Everyone can do it. If I did it, anybody can do it. So
now, did you get the perfect recipes right away? Like, how did that whole process go? Did you end up like tweaking it?
We honestly, a lot of the recipes are still the same, and those were the recipes that we made at home that we loved. So, like, we made tacos at home all the time. The steak and the chicken recipe, that's the same. We started Chipotle chicken in the beginning, and it was like a hot mess. We didn't have a dishwasher, so we would have to hand wash everything. We were there for like 2 and 3 hours at night. So I was like, let's make another option for like maybe grilled chicken instead of doing all this. So like little things like that, but 95% of the recipes are exactly the same. The green crack, that's been the same since day one. We made that with our friends in Hawaii, so that was something that we brought. Like all of these foods we ate at home. So it's kind of like that. I love
Hawaiian food and all their stuff going on there. Got married there.
We got married there too. Where'd you get married?
Well, interesting topic. We got married behind a barbecue.
Cool.
It was right on the beach, but like there's like we had to like get to it, and so we had to like walk through this like kind of like a ghetto barbecue going on.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh my gosh, it was definitely memorable.
What island though were you on?
Wait, I think my wife's in here somewhere. What was the island? Oahu? Yeah. Yes, Oahu.
Oh, okay. We got married in Kauai in the backyard. We got like yeah. So that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, how was yours? Mine was I had a pretty much of a mental breakdown. Hopefully you guys liked yours a little better.
Well, loved it was kind of like it was just really quick, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, so we wanted to do the big wedding and invite everybody, which by the way, Delaware has so many awesome places to do a wedding, but her family's out in California, Vegas, Philippines, and I was over in this area. So to choreograph all that and fly everybody, like, it was just, you know what, let's just elope. And yeah. It's really cool.
We wanted to elope, and then it took too long. And when I lived in a van in Mexico, my mom didn't talk to me for like 6 months for a while. So then I started panicking that if I eloped, that she wasn't going to talk to me again. And I was like, damn it, I think I got to tell her parents. And then it kind of evolved, and then more people wanted to go to Hawaii than I had ever thought possible. But we had rented a house, and it was like you only could have 24 people cap or something in the backyard. So it was like the small backyard, and our family alone, like my husband has 3 siblings, and they all have spouses. So like that alone, it was just like our immediate family. So then a lot of friends got upset that they couldn't go. It was like this horrible. Yeah. Everyone was getting upset with us. I was like, I just wanted to elope. I just wanted to get married in the backyard. What is happening? And why is no one celebrating our love? Okay. No one can say about our love right now. And us getting married, they're concerned about like this, that, and the other. Like what is going on right now? So I don't like that whole wedding thing. I like being married, but that whole wedding thing is like.
Yeah. No, that is another topic. The wife's in the room. So let's keep on.
She knows she was there too. You don't worry. You can't hurt her feelings. She was there.
No, I love everything. Delaware's awesome for weddings, but I'm all about eloping. Very simple, easy, and don't invite the whole family. Very cool.
Take it from me. Take it from me. Even 22 people was too many. Too many.
Daisy's in the house, everybody. If you're on the podcast.
She's gorgeous. You have a gorgeous wife. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so, okay, Grab and Go Taco in Fenwick Island. If you guys are interested, haven't been there, check it out. You can go to the website, grabandgotaco.com. We'll also plug in some emails and phone numbers and stuff down below if you guys are interested in checking that out. So what do you think the biggest difference is from, let's say, a taco or restaurant in Philadelphia as opposed to at the beach? What are some of your more favorite things that you love about being at the beach?
Did you see that somebody had written a review from Philly?
No.
We're gonna have to find it because that is so hysterical. So I grew up in New Jersey, right outside of Philly. I know they don't like to say that, but like literally we lived on the river. You could see Philly right across the thing. I'll just pull it up really quickly because it's so funny. And he was like talking like how great Philly tacos were. So I was like reaching out to my friends who still live in New Jersey and my family members, and they were like, "Yeah, like Philly's really known for its tacos." It's like it was just such a funny. I mean, we don't even need to go there if you don't want to.
That's fine. So you can do that.
Yeah, it's whatever. I'll show you later. So I don't know. We just do tacos just kind of differently. Like we love La Sierra in Selbyville. If you've ever been there. It is like a typical kind of thing. They just do the corn tortillas. They get some really good steak or beef, put some onions, a little bit of cilantro on there, and then they give like that really great salsa verde. So if you're looking for like really traditional, amazing tacos, La Sierra in Selbyville is delicious. We like Taco Rijo. They do a lot of different stuff. They have this hot dog that's really awesome. We stick it pretty basic. We stick to like our 6 tacos, 7, and then we do quesadillas. We just keep it simple because we also have a huge amount of constraint with space. We're actually moving next summer, which I'm so happy about, and then we'll be able to do a little bit more.
Ooh, that sounds exciting.
I don't even think I answered your question. I'm sorry.
Well, no, you're kind of getting into it. So part of the reason this area is so awesome is that there's so many awesome places to go and people to meet.
There's so many great places in town. Like I feel like small businesses right now in town are really having a hard time, especially restaurants who have indoor seating. Like, I'm seeing a lot of friends struggle, and it's really upsetting. So I'm like trying to do whatever I can to like keep small businesses around this town alive. So, and I think you're doing that too. So that's so cool. So
Yeah, and I think everyone's got to stick together. And I think that's another thing I love about this area is that everyone, you know, they do stick together, and they really promote the local life, you know, and try to keep it simple. And we were in Virginia Beach a little ways back, and I was like, man, I can see this area growing. I mean, we're the fastest growing beach area in the East Coast. So it's like,
it's crazy.
The northern East Coast. So it's like, it makes you wonder, like, how, you know, 40 years from now, well, okay, so 30 years ago, none of this was here, right?
Yeah.
You know, 30,
I wish my husband were here. This is like his jam. He loves talking about how weird it was when he was younger growing up, because he grew up right across the street from where we live now, across 54. He was like, it is so it's like unreal, the difference. So like you're saying, yeah, I totally agree. I can imagine.
So you can't really, there's a lot of people, especially online, that say, oh, you know, I'm so against anyone moving here, and, you know, cornfields forever and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a balance too. You know, there's a balance with everything in life. Like, you don't need to like tear down every field, but you also can make like a nice way of, you know, there's ways to do things that are.
Yeah. So when I said that, I didn't mean to say like bash cornfields and stuff, but you can't really be against.
We need the corn. No, I'm just kidding.
The population, you know, because that means you're against like babies. So
yeah, for sure. It's like, but we do have a lot of farms around the area, and I guess maybe the space is just getting eaten up because a lot of the older generations are passing away, and their children are like seeing those how much money they can get for all of these fields, and they're like, okay. But so that's where I'm like, we kind of need some farms, but we just have like a lot of the chicken farms. Like, let's bring like.
That's what it is. Yeah, the chickens.
Yeah, and isn't that so depressing, driving behind a chicken truck?
It is depressing. It makes you think of like a scary movie. With
oh my God. And then sometimes I like can't make eye contact with the chickens. Like, it's so sad. I'm like, and then I sell all this chicken, and then I have this like internal battle, and I watch the documentaries, and I'm like,
oh yeah, the Netflix. Oh my God.
I just chop up all of those chickens. Like, I get really upset. So I have like this internal struggle.
Yeah, this is so great because you know, the mind, we think anywhere from 70 to 90,000 thoughts a day, and as an entrepreneur, especially, you know, coming from a city or something, or wherever we're coming from, there's just so much stuff going on in our minds, and it's just so great to kind of tap into that a little bit, you know, and just kind of explore the various things. So with that said, you are also trying to get into, well, not trying to, you are, you've got the equipment, you are starting, you were in radio for 9 years. Tell me a little bit about that and what you're doing now.
This is my equipment that I haven't figured out yet. I will get there. Yeah. So when I was 21, when I graduated college, that's when my dad was in hospice. That's when I was planning on moving away. I'm from New Jersey, so I was like, I don't want to go back to New Jersey. I'm just going to stay down here in Waitress, and I spent my first winter here. In doing so, like, I am like I need to be doing things. I heard that they needed an intern at the radio station, 98.1 WOCM. It's located on top of Secrets. Have you ever been to Secrets?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like in there. It is the coolest radio. So you like the setup because it's all wooden, and then you get to see out like over the bay.
Makes you feel like you're in Hawaii or something.
It was super cool. So I had never done radio. Like, I was a communications major, but I was like more so PR and all that kind of stuff. So when my friend told me they needed an intern, I was like, oh, I'll just go and hit to see whatever. And when I showed up, they were like, we're kind of looking for somebody already in college. And I was like, that's fine. I'm like super bored, and how about I just hang out until you guys find someone? And they're like, yeah, for sure. So then no one else applied. Like, and this was when like MySpace. So this is 2003.
Yes, MySpace.
2007. I'm sorry, 2007 to 2008. So I made them a MySpace page. I did like some press releases that like probably went nowhere. They were probably like, who's this bitch making press releases? Like, come on. So then they just working at the radio. They just need different voices. So like they always say you get tired of hearing the same voice. So I was always just hanging out. And who I interned for were BK and Leslie, and they did a show called Live Licks at 6, and they would have live bands come in from 6 to 7. So it was like one of my favorite things because I love live music. Like in high school, I was always going to Philly for live music. So I was like, this is fucking awesome. And some of the bands weren't so good, but some of them were. It was just a cool vibe to sit up there and listen and then talk to them. So I really enjoyed that aspect. So then they finally got me to do like a commercial or something. And I was just like beat red. My heart was racing because they have to sit there with you. And then they're like, what's so nervous? I was like, you hear your voice on your voicemail or like on the answering machine. So that's all I kept hearing. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to get in there. So finally I did it. And they were like, you did a good job. And I was like sweating, anxiety, sweat everywhere. So I was like, all right, if you guys want me to do this again, I'm going to learn how to edit myself. So I immediately learned how to edit. So I could just sit there in a room by myself and like kind of mess with it as opposed to like having this person next to me making me sweat. I'd rather just make myself sweat. And then just like through hanging out with them, then they had this on-air spot that was super late at night from 10 to 2. My dad died and then a week later, that's when like my show started. So I kind of always have fueled like whatever sadness into just doing things. That's how I kind of cope. So I was like, all right, run right into the radio station, worked there for an entire summer, but then I went to Mexico. And then I came back and I was like, hey, do you guys need any on-air help again? And then they had something on the weekend, and it was called The Party Zone. Oh, my God. Sam with The Party Zone. It was from 12 to 5, Saturdays and Sundays. That was I did not pick that name. That was given to me. And then I did that for like 2-3 years. I would always come back in the summer and just help out again. And they always knew that I would sub for them if they needed. So I just would do the morning show here and there or whatever, and like continue to do commercials for when they needed voice work.
That's awesome. And Sam, you're like literally describing the beach life. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's what it is. That's why I love this area. Yeah. And that's why this area is so special. Like I've seen a lot of beach areas. I've seen California beaches, Hawaii beaches. Like our area is so cool because a majority of us really just work for 6-7 months and then get to do whatever you want those outside months. And I feel like that's being threatened lately. So I'm just like really... So recently, my friend Schwab, who works at 98.1, I haven't done on-air work since like 2015, just because like with Grab and Go, it's a little too much. But then they reached out for me to do an interview because I recently stood up for myself with like this whole green crack thing. So then he and I had this like 13-minute live interview, kind of went sideways. He didn't really know what he was in for there. But I knew all the rules. I know all the rules with the FCC. I know the rules how long phone calls were. So I was like kind of like taking advantage of that. So it was real fun. It was really fun. That's funny. I'll have to send you the interview. I have it. I don't know if I emailed it to you. Yeah. I say vagina a lot. So it's just yeah. All right. Our slogan is respect the taco. The taco is a vagina. Respect the taco. We got called out for using green crack. So I just like when I did the on-air interview with Schwab, I just threw it all out there. I was like, green crack, is that the guacamole? That's our sauce we put on everything. But back to the shaved ice, our LLC is the shaved taco because we wanted shaved ice and tacos. So it's the shaved taco. My mother-in-law kind of understood what it meant after a second. She was like, you will not call that. If you want this in this building, you will. I was like, okay, so that just was like my LLC name and kind of got it away. That is hilarious. So did you ever do the shaved taco? We never did the shaved ice. No, I mean, you can shave it if you want. No big deal. Yeah. Okay. No, we never did. It was just too small of a space. And we quickly realized like, whoa, we kind of, we were very lucky in the beginning to already have like lines and stuff. And we were like trying to figure it all out. It's not shaved ice, so in Hawaii, right? It's called halo halo. Is that what it is? Oh, I don't know. I think it's called halo halo. Yeah, you're probably right. Like ice cream on the bottom of it, and yeah. You guys haven't had one. Whatever the heck it is, Fenwick Ice actually company. It's right on Route 54. It's right outside of my development. Fenwick Ice Company. They have like this really cool bus, and it's shaved ice. Awesome. They opened last year like gangbusters. It was like. So now they have their own little space. So if you're looking for Hawaiian type shape ice, we have that going on now too. Oh, what's it called? You know? It's called Fenwick Ice Company. Oh. They have a really cool Instagram. They play music. They have like a little bag set there. I take my 3-year-old to go get some shaved ice and like listen to reggae. Ooh, that sounds like a good option. Hopefully we can get them on. And, they actually are in my neighborhood. Yes, I'll go over there and get shaved ice food, and then I'll tell you. Okay, so wow, we got a lot of stuff, really good stuff. So guys, if you're thinking about this area, this is just
an example of like just the area. It's just so awesome, full of so many people. You just stick around for a couple years, and just by being nice and smiling. We don't want you if you're not nice. So if you're not nice,
really.
you're not allowed here.
Seriously.
Yeah, and you got to be cool. You got to be cool. Yeah. And so when you come, though, this is what to expect. I mean, just by interacting with people, the local business owners are just real people. And it's not like this big corporate setting for the most part. And like
we're trying those corporations.
Yeah, they're trying. But coming from Vegas, my poor wife, she came out here and it was all like high heels and just Vegas attire, not like crazy stuff, but just nice stuff. She was in corporate
flip-flops and Uggs, or barefoot.
Yeah. So coming here though, I had to get rid of all my collared stuff and suits and jackets. I still every now and then I'll get dolled up, but
there you go. It's fun to put the heels on every once in a while. It's fun to do that because I love being laid back and wearing stretch pants every day, but every once in a while it feels good just to put on a normal outfit and go out and have like a nice dinner.
But here is awesome because I go to estimates and I do all this stuff and flip flops and I don't got to worry about it. It's just this late. It is slower, like this vibe. But it doesn't mean lower, slower. I don't have to call you back, or I don't have to like be respectful, and I don't have to, lower, slower is just the mentality of, what, life's not a race. There's no finish line. There's no like, I gotta hurry. Like I feel like we're always in a hurry to like, go to the next place and sit there, and be in a hurry to go to the next place.
Yeah. And if you stop and think about it, or you're like, or even when you're taking pictures, a million pictures, like, what the fuck am I taking all these pictures?
Yeah.
You don't even like things like that. It's like put the phone down, experience it. You probably have a better memory if you actually sit here and like observe it instead of like with the constant videoing.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank God concerts aren't gone anymore. Those shitty videos of concerts when they hang. It's like no one wants to see you videotape a concert and put it on Instagram. People, stop doing that. Quality. We wish we were there too, but stop. Just with the cameras and everyone's all drunk and they're like.
I think I did have a live at a concert one time. Don't judge me.
I'm not going to judge you. Maybe you probably had good seats. You like give the judgment, and not the seats like all over the place. You can tell they're like wasted. I'm like, what the hell? Or like with the COVID shot. Stop putting up that you got the COVID shot. Good for it's like good job, guys. But I'm sorry if you did. But
Yeah. So
did you post that you put the COVID shot?
No, and I'm going to stay non-political and not get into the COVID shot. So let's.
Oh, I hear you. I was with you. I want people to guess. Do I have it? Do I not? I don't know. I'm not going to tell.
I don't know, and then just walk up and touch them. No,
exactly.
Okay, no more joking about the COVID. We're staying.
God, people are so sensitive anymore, aren't they? You're probably going to get in trouble about that. Oh God, it's so annoying.
Have to cut this out. No, we're going to keep it real.
Cut it out.
All right, so here we go, Sam. We got Grab and Go Taco. I just want to plug this in here again. If you guys are interested in checking out, just a great place in a great area in Fenwick Island. If you haven't been there yet, go check it out. Grab and Go Taco. Google it. Go on Facebook. Like, subscribe, share, and go check it out. Also, so you started to talk about your being asked to help with starting some voice stuff, but you didn't mention what it's called or how people can get into that. What?
Well, my friend had reached out to me. He had started something new and he just needed some voices because like I said before, when you work at the radio, they always say people just get tired of hearing the same person over and over. So
this is the new one, right?
The newer one. Yeah. And then, so I just decided through talking with him, I wasn't really into time constraints because I have the taco stand. It is hard for me to, like, I'm sure some weeks would be fine, but then others that would make me sad if I weren't able to produce the content that he deserved. You know what I mean? So from that, like, we had a conversation. He's doing his thing, and my creative juices started flowing, and I was like, well, I'll just start my own podcast. Because that's what I wanted to do, podcast. I didn't want to do the radio. He was doing a fusion between local radio and kind of like a Spotify situation, which I thought was cool, but then the FCC still has, like, a little bit of a hold in there. You're still controlled by advertisers and things like that. And I really just love the freedom of speech aspect of a podcast. I like not being held to advertisers. So I was like, hey, called my accountant. I was like, can I start I can start a podcast through the company. It's like through the Shaved Taco LLC. Mm-hmm. And I can pay people if they need to, but really I've like just other adults who just want to get together, like do a collective of just like interesting topics. So my goal is to have everybody just do an hour, edit it down to an hour. It's going to be like 8 different people. I've one of my really great friends, Maya. She lives in the UK. She's like casually best friends with Elton John. She asked me to come over their cereal. I was like, I clean fryers. I can't hang out with Elton John, Maya. Like, I don't know. She hung out with like the Rolling Stones and shit.
Oh my
like,
gosh,
kids
that's
go to
cool.
school with Jerry Hall. I'm like, what's even happening right now? Like, why are you even my friend? And then I have like this other amazing girl in Colorado. She was in the Army, and she's also like a tech guru. I have my girl Kaylin over in Oregon. She is a massage therapist, but also is like super passionate about like family and health, things like that. So we're all going to be talking about different. Oh, and my other girl, Jess, I love her to death. She actually like rang the bell at Wall Street. She's a financial currency analyst. Oh. So we have all these different people who, instead of just doing one podcast each, we just all have a collective of where we can throw an hour up under like one name, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's no pressure. And then I also told them, like, if they get advertising opportunities, I'm familiar with like radio advertising budgets, but not so much podcast. But I can help them, and they would just receive their individual sponsorship. You know what I mean? So like if they're sponsored, that just goes right to them, not to the collective. The collective
is just something that you actually haven't done any episodes yet, but it's, what will it be called when people
we're kind of like, I don't know, we're kind of going around that too. I don't want to know. I kind of want to like their input also. I really was doing it. So my son was sick for 2 weeks, like with the stomach flu thing. Oh my God, it was horrible. So I just was home where normally I'm working. As you can see, my mind is like here, there, everywhere. So that's when I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll start my own podcast. And then got all the gear, started researching it. I know, like I said, I know how to edit and all those things. So through
you're
that
like
process,
a typical entrepreneur.
I don't know. I don't know what I am. Thank you.
No,
my
it's
brain
awesome, Sam. I mean, sometimes we beat ourselves up, I think, for having all these different things, but I think that's what makes entrepreneurs so amazing, is that we have this inherent talent of exploring our different ideas and talents, and really just taking on the world with that type of stuff, as opposed to most people, they just, you know what, I'm just going to stick with this one thing and not really put myself out there. And, you know, I think that's where a lot of great ideas and stuff come from, is people like yourself. So,
and to be wrong, like I love to be wrong. I'm here to be wrong. I've made so many mistakes along the way, and then you just have to listen to those mistakes and learn from them, and then you can get better each year. You know, it's like, it's in business. I'm in therapy. I struggle with it personally.
I think we all definitely need therapy. So, Sam, what is your most common misconception over your industry?
And for the restaurant industry?
Yes.
The most common misconception is that we have all of the answers about COVID. We have been put into the position to, you know, relegate all of the COVID, like to explain all of the COVID rules to different people from different areas. So because our area, we have a lot of people from Pennsylvania, New York, you know, everywhere. So even starting this season was a lot easier, because I was like, guys, people are coming from everywhere. This small town is going to have a different rule than that small town is going to have a different rule than New York is going to have a different rule from here. So they all come to our area and like are like sometimes not very nice about forcing us to describe what Delaware is versus Maryland. We're right on the Delaware line. And it just takes quite a bit of time. And we're already trying so hard to go quickly with making food and stuff. So and then people will get upset. But we do all of the things that the CDC tells us, the guidelines. And then people still push back. Like there's a parking lot in our area where people get tacos. So people were very upset that we weren't policing the parking lot. But that's literally public property. You know, it's like, basically, we had enough right to police them as this person did. So everybody was just kind of, I don't know, like I felt like if you were an essential worker, you kind of got it beat up a bit. And you kind of like had to tell everybody all the rules. And then it's like, yeah, we want rules too, but we're working and we're putting ourselves in the line of fire. I was 9 months pregnant, cutting up chicken during COVID. My daughter was born July 6th. So last year when COVID hit and all that, I was there during all that. And people were like yelling at me. And I'm just like rubbing my pregnant stomach like, yeah, okay, well I don't.
Well, at least it's not the Zika virus. The Zika virus was scary for mothers too.
Yeah, I mean, all of it is, because now it's like, oh, you might be okay, you might not be okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like all these rules, whatever, and they change all the time, and it's our job to like explain to everybody how they change all the time. And then it was such a difficult thing for these kids. Because our area was flooded, then these kids hang out with their friends who are my coworkers. Not these kids, they're like 17, 18. They're wonderful, capable, smart humans. But they would go out with their friends, and then they would be around somebody with COVID, so then they couldn't come back until the test came. So you're always understaffed. You were always just running and chasing your tail. The food delivery situation was out of control last summer and this summer it's like finally evening out. Just like food prices are through the roof. So people are getting upset that, you have to raise the price of food just everywhere, avocados, all those things, and beef especially, my goodness. And people are upset. I'm like, listen, look at the grocery store, how things are pretty expensive. It's the same for us.
Yeah, I think
no one's trying to like screw anybody, it's just like, if anything, I'm losing a little money by trying not to raise prices, because
that is a huge point, because everything has raised, and actually we're like right in the same boat. We're like teeter-tottering on, I want to like make it up right till I have to raise prices, because you feel like you're sticking it to, everyone again. And honestly, it's and with the employee situation and just so much variables hitting us from different angles. Mm-hmm. But I'm really proud of you and all of us and the restaurants and
do you have a restaurant? I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. But what are all your projects? Because you have so many of the cleaning business, and you have what else?
Well, we do have a lot of stuff going on. We are interested in doing a restaurant. I got some side stuff going on. But
let me know if you need help with the restaurant. I love Eddie. We're actually helping two of our friends, not financially, just like through moral support. Like we're just showing them who our lawyers are, but I'm sure you have all that stuff. If you ever need any help or pointers, we are here to share. We are here to share our whatever past mistakes we've made. Like I'm all about shooting people forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I definitely got some good stuff in the mix, but I'm kind of not going to talk about anything yet, but
that's smart though. You never want to talk about your ideas, because then people just are like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? You're like, I got it. I like to like go, bam, I just did this, and people are like, they think I'm insane, but I'm like, I've been doing it a while. Just like, don't tell anybody, because I don't like judgment, and I don't like other people's. I love once I get going, but when I'm in the creative process, it's really difficult to constantly hear people critique your vision.
Yeah, definitely. Sam, so we talked a little bit about past, the area, how awesome it is, some struggles that people are going through, some different businesses, and if you're coming here, you're a tourist or you're listening, how you can support local businesses by being more patient, and more understanding that, everyone's kind of going through the same thing. So, we're just pivoting, we're just adjusting, and I think just give it a little bit of time and everybody will figure out all the issues they're going through. But so you've been in the 302 area for quite a while now. What are some of your favorite spots that someone, if they're listening or coming here, can check out?
Oh, geez, we have so many. Okay, well, I said Fenwick Ice Company for the ice, so good. We go to Luna's Castle Cactus Cafe right across the street on Route 54 quite a bit. They have the coldest beers ever. They taste delicious when you.
Now, what about? I love those restaurants, and I want to know your favorite restaurants. What about? I'm actually looking for places that aren't businesses. What about some secret spots?
Oh my gosh! I'm like. My backyard's really cool. If you want anything,
all right, guys, we're gonna go to Sam's backyard. We're gonna have the address down below.
Most cool things. I've kind of been on house arrest ever since being a mom. Not house arrest, but because of COVID and all of that stuff. And I had my daughter during huge COVID time, so I just don't get out much anymore.
All right, so what I got is that you didn't want kids, and now they're a ball and chain. So we're not going to let your kids.
Oh no, they're wonderful. They're like the best thing that ever happened. If anything,
I'm just kidding. If anything, what I did with them,
I know. I probably made it sound that way, like Jesus Christ, help me. It's like no, it's okay. My favorite thing to do with my son, especially when I was pregnant with my second, we would go to Assateague. All the time. You drive in, especially in the winter time. The horses are everywhere, and the dunes are really block the wind.
The horses are bullies, though.
Yeah, you don't mess with them. Well,
You don't mess with the horses.
Yeah, you just kind of like work them. But my son loved it. Yeah, and just run around. Like we just love going to the beach. Like that is what's fun around here. Yeah, or Camp Barnes. There's like this Camp Barnes area over in Selbyville. If you go back, it opens up to this really beautiful area. I more so do like nature things. There's not really. I mean, it's not like there's like book clubs or something, you know.
Actually, there are book clubs.
I would like to be a part of a book club. Any book clubs, let me know.
There are a ton of book clubs. We even had oh my heavens, she's gonna kill me. It's a needle and threading. A woman that in Rehoboth that does. She's like 30,000 products for like knitting and threading, and there's book clubs, and this area is jam packed, and whatever you want to do.
What is it called?
Oh my heavens, she's gonna kill me.
No, it's okay. You can post it later or whatever.
Needle and oh my, it's like
needle and thread.
Needling, yeah. Oh my heavens, I can't think of it. Anyways, it's where you take a needle and a thread and you make stitching, is what they call it. Actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. So, well, you mentioned.
Is it cross stitching?
Yeah.
Cross stitching. Yeah. I actually cross stitch. I
don't have any book clubs or anything like that.
I will go there.
I'm like, actually, there's both. You can have book clubs and the beach.
There you go.
Okay.
Or like we just love to go on a boat. If one of our friends have a boat, you know, like we live in this area because the cool things to do are just the area, like crabbing, going fishing, you know, stuff like that.
You got any crazy out in the water experiences?
Oh,
like
geez. I mean,
almost sinking or anything like that?
We're PG-13. My friends and I, we were these guys. I was like probably 19 or 20. I was working over at Harborside in West Ocean City, and my shift started at 4. And we're out in the middle of the bay. But you know, when you go to Aztec and you go over that giant bridge, we were like right by that bridge. Conveniently, that bridge has 0 cell phone service, and we ran out of gas for like hours. And normally there's people like going here, there, everywhere. We're all like, where is everybody? We couldn't, like, none of our cell phones worked. I had to work, like I was so late to work, and they were like, yeah, sure, you got stranded in the middle. It's like, oh my gosh. And then one time I went to I did a catch and release tournament out deep sea fishing, and I got a white marlin, which was like so cool, especially because I didn't kill them because I don't like doing that.
There's a huge white marlin competition, by the way.
Oh, White Marlin Open is really fun too. If anybody ever goes, it's just crowded. I personally, oh my God, our town is going to kill me. It hurts my soul to like see all these dead, beautiful creatures. So I like catch and release tournaments. So like when I caught the marlin, it was catch and release. So even though, gosh, do they still have their? That's probably still bad. Even.
And I think Netflix has just ruined like everything in my life.
No, not even. Well, it's like before. I was always like the person who went to the zoo and felt sad for them. Like I've always been this like weirdo. But like you do see these blue marlins, especially in the white marlin tournament, and they're so old and so gorgeous. They're like 80 years old, and it's like, and you can't really eat them, so that's my issue. But I really don't want to say anything negatively. It's a really cool thing that our town does. It's the biggest bill fishing tournament in the whole world. Yep. I'm just like a sensitive, like I don't like deer hunting and all of that stuff too. So everyone take that with a grain of salt. That's just me. You guys can do it, whatever. But
yeah, and I think that's what makes up the world. You know, I mean, you have different interests, different people, different things.
I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just like I don't feel
balance.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
We all balance each other out.
And then I go through friggin' 1,500 or to 2,000 pounds of chicken a week. So who am I? You know what I mean? So everyone can know that I'm recognizing my part in all that too.
2,000 pounds of chicken? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's between like 1,500 and 2,000 now. It's getting to it, but that's why we're moving to a bigger space because we just physically can't hold. I mean, you should see the inside of that place. It's so small.
Have you tried doing the plant-based tacos yet?
We do a veggie taco. What do you mean plant? Like just
you
like
know, they have that meat now that tastes like meat, but it's like made out of vegetables.
Oh yeah, like I kind of like that stuff, but I also feel like if you're like craving a burger, then maybe you shouldn't be vegetarian. You know what I mean? Like, like I don't like to take something that's so good already and make it into like some other weird meat. So like when I was breastfeeding my son, I couldn't have dairy, so everyone kept giving me that vegan cheese, and I'm like, I just don't want cheese. I don't want like a subpar cheese. I don't. You know, like if I'm vegan, shouldn't cheese freak me out anyway? So
did that stay with you, or did that go away?
That went away. No, I had cheesesteak the second I could. You better believe it.
Ooh, where's your favorite cheesesteak place? I have a battle with this. Eddie Rowe, he was on the show. He's a realtor in the area, and we have like these cheesesteak wars where he thinks he can make a better cheesesteak than me. But
Who wins? Do you win?
well, we've only done it where he made the cheesesteak, so we haven't actually battled like neck to neck yet. But I think I definitely make a better cheesesteak.
It all depends on the roll. You got to get a good roll.
Yeah.
High Stakes Bar and Grill on Route 54 is awesome. The closest thing that you can get to a Philly cheesesteak down here.
Oh yeah.
High Stakes Bar and Grill.
Cheese whiz.
You know it. You have to. I get a buffalo chicken with cheese whiz. And, oh my god, it's so good. And they have the best rolls. It's just like taco shells. You can't have a shitty tortilla. You know.
Yeah, I had someone on a couple of days ago, and they said the same thing. The only thing not the only thing, but the biggest thing that makes a Philly cheesesteak is the roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So very cool. Sam, you ready for lightning round?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it. All right. What is your favorite book, tool, software, video, Netflix video, speaker, something in your life that somebody could check out today that changed your life for the better?
My favorite book ever is Shantaram. It's by Gregory David Roberts. It's like this thick book, but it's about it's this guy's memoir. He escaped from jail in Australia and went to India, and it was his whole story. Shantaram, it's Shantraman. I picked it up on the traveling circuit. Everybody was reading it at the time down like while we were traveling. So good. I also listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to Joe Rogan quite a bit, just because I like that he has all different people. I especially like the older ones where he didn't go to Spotify. You can kind of tell, how can you not?
Wait.
Whatever. He still has some really good content.
I don't even know. What's the difference between Spotify and something else? He
was on Apple, and then Spotify bought him out to come on to Spotify for an obscene amount, like over $20 million. So you can't blame him. But he had more freedom, I feel like, when he was just like a regular podcast, not on Spotify. You know what I mean? You can tell that he's a little more.
Oh, because Spotify's like ads.
Conscious, right? I guess.
It's like an ad platform.
Exactly. Whereas before, he just had his advertisers and he kind of did it individually. But who can blame somebody for taking 20? It was like 50. It was like something crazy, like $20 or $50 million. So, but still, he's super interesting, and he has wonderful guests from all over the spectrum, which I like. Mm-hmm. So that's my favorite podcast, and then books, and then TV shows. I like trash TV. I like Bravo. I watch Netflix documentaries, but obviously I get like real upset about them. So I need something like dumb and stupid at the end of the night, so I don't go to bed trying to invent something or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I watched the plastic thing, the video on plastic, and it's just horrible. And I was standing in the grocery store the other day. Nothing against grocery stores, but I'm standing in there and I'm like looking at the millions of products, and I'm like, everything is a one-time use thing, and it's plastic.
Everything.
I'm like, by the end of the week, most of this stuff will be in a landfill, and I'm like, this is crazy. So in our business, we have a cleaning business, and we do a lot of like trash bags, literally thousands and thousands of plastic trash bags every month. And it's like, so I switched. I went over to, and this is a whole like world of stuff, by the way, but
I'm with you. I'm totally with you on this.
Well, I switched over to biodegradable. Or compost. I forget now. But anyways, they trick you by saying, well, this is compostable, but in reality, it breaks down into microplastics, which is even worse. So anyways, I ended up getting this stuff that it's like the legit thing, and it's real, and it's good, and I bought them all, like all this stuff. Well, then we get them all out to the stuff, and they like tear easy. Yep. So, like we couldn't really use them, and I'm like in this conflicting.
You spend all the money on them. Mm-hmm.
Now I feel like this horrible person because like I'm a producer of like this immense amount of trash and plastic problem. So trying to figure that out. Isn't it?
It's so stressful. I'm totally with you. Try having children, because I've been trying to get biodegradable diapers forever, and really they're not 100% biodegradable. Just still some of the plastics are on there, and I understand like you don't want a diaper to melt off, but there has to be something. Like the amount of diapers that we put into this world makes me like crazy. Ask my husband. And cloth diapers are just like a hot mess. I don't know. God bless any mother who uses a friggin' cloth diaper, but I've known kids who like they can take it off so easily, and then they get salmonella because they're like have their hands in there. It's not good. So there has to be some sort of alternative in that way. And just especially we carry like biodegradable plastic bags too, but it takes like over 100+ years, and they just break down to the microplastics until they actually finally, and then it's in the ocean and whatever else.
Yeah, so you got to get the
Very
compostable
depressing.
is what I learned.
We have compostable takeout containers, and I was one of the first people in, like, my reps weren't even using them. In 2013, when I like demanded some compostable, at least for our quesadillas, we had a hell of a time. I had to go online and find them myself.
Right. Yeah.
And now it's like they're everywhere, so it's great, like the sugarcane ones and all of that. But as far as like sides and stuff go, like if they make little side cups out of the sugarcane, it just like disintegrates. So it's like, what do you do? There has to be like a good, there has to be like a solid in the middle or something. But we're trying. You can tell things are trying, but those things are also, like you said, so super expensive. So people don't want to pay more money for that specific takeout container, even though it's good for the environment. They just, so they want to. I feel people generally want to do well, but they don't want to pay for it.
Yeah. So if you're listening right now, I wanted to bring that up because I really want to know who's in that space, because I'm really interested in it, but it's really frustrating because I feel like there's not a good option, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and you're right. It's like 3 times more expensive. So it
has to be. And like hemp, I know they can make things out of hemp. I'm not quite sure why we're not doing that yet, because you can make hard hemp products, and I don't know. I just feel like there's so many different ways that we could reuse our waste and all that. And it's just Garvey Heiderman. Okay, so my friend Garvey started Go Green OC with a few of his friends, and they go there's like 4 main restaurants, and they compost anything compostable. And there's like a giant area in I think it's in West Ocean City. It's The Hobbit, Real Raw Organics, and 2 other people do it. So I reached out to him and I was like, let's do a Delaware one. We need a Delaware one, but it's so hard, the loopholes and all, like, not loops, the hoops that you'd have to jump through.
Well, I reached out.
There are good things happening, but
there is a group. They're up in Wilmington. I actually reached out to them and they said that they wanted to come on. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks I can get them on.
Oh my God, see if they're interested in opening a thing, because we have so many food scraps and stuff, and that breaks my heart too. I'm like, God, this would all be so compostable. Yeah,
so we had the Frozen Farmer on with Froberg, where their big thing is they take like misfit fruits and stuff from farms and all this stuff, and they repurpose it into, like, usable stuff. But I never thought about restaurants with all the compost stuff. Like, what do you do with all this waste and food and stuff? But that's a perfect idea.
Yeah. Like even avocado skins. We go through 1 million avocado skins. Like, or we just have so many things that we could compost. But he's, like I said, at max capacity, and he's doing great things over there. So Go Green OC, you can check them out. And then also, like I said, we're just trying to bring it into the Delaware. We need.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out.
In Delaware, I think every town needs something like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm really glad we brought this up, just because we live right on the ocean, and like, there's just so much stuff I think that we can help. I think reusable stuff is great, but I think making a stronger plastic thing so you can reuse it, I don't think anybody actually reuses it. So I just want to discourage anybody for thinking, let me make a thicker plastic bag so I
know. Have you listened to Dr. Shanna something on Joe Rogan? She's a fertility specialist, and it's so interesting and so scary. She really focused on fertility research, and through that she realized that the entire world's sperm count has been cut in half from 1978 until right now. And she has proven it's because of all of the plastics that we use, and they just, all those chemicals get in, especially in utero. So when the babies are in utero, they get like when the testosterone push, it goes to make it either a male or a female. That process is being disrupted, and it's affecting sperm count. So literally since 1978, when she started this, the entire world's population's sperm count has been cut in half. She's a doctor. I have I'll have to send you that information, but it was the most interesting podcast I've listened to in so long. She's like this adorable old lady. She made Joe Rogan take a jizz quiz. It's hysterical. But it was so interesting because even babies that you could count, babies who were in the NICU and needed lines and PICC lines and things to feed them, feeding tubes, you could count the amount of these chemicals that were going into the baby per tube. So, and it's also like from generational. So say I'm hippy dippy. I live in the middle of nowhere. I catch my fish from the ocean. I have coconuts in the tree. I literally make everything. my child could still receive all of those nasty chemicals that my mom had because I was in her belly. So it's 2 generations removed. So even if you do your best, your child still has what's your mother did. I mean, it was literally the most interesting podcast I've listened to in so long. And it was just so scary that like this information is out there. She's never had anybody refute her scientific evidence. She's had lots of teams of people, and it's just scary. And Joe Rogan kept saying, I can't believe no one talks about this. It was like insane.
Do you remember what her name was?
I do. I'm going to look it up. That's what I was just trying to,
really
I was trying to give it to you guys.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Shanna something. It was number something or other. I'll look it up right now.
Well, guys, you heard it. Apparently, we talk about sperm count and
vaginas. I said vagina earlier. What else can we talk about here? Well, sorry for bringing it weird.
Well, I'm sure is like, well, what does this got to do with the 302 area? But I think it has a lot to do with everything because all these topics that we just brought up. I mean, this is the real stuff that's going on around beaches.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, and our area has a huge healthcare problem right now. So one of my first podcasts that I want to do is with my OB. She started her own private practice, and then also my labor and delivery nurse who works for the BB healthcare system, because there's such a lack of healthcare for us down here. Our area is exploding, and our healthcare or our health situation just like it's just too much for everybody to.
Yeah, it's literally get Mr. Tan on Dr. Tan, I think his name is, from down at the BB.
Dr.
Group.
Tan?
Tan. He does his own. He actually does a little. It's kind of like, I think it's like a Facebook Live or like a little podcast or something that he does. So anyways, I would love to dive deeper into all this stuff.
Sorry, I'm trying to find that Shanna. Her name's like Dr. Shanna something or other. I'm gonna find it. Here it is, Dr. Shanna Swan. Dr. Shanna Swan, right there. The cutest little old lady. Could you imagine her giving you a jizz quiz? She was so interesting. And actually, you can even watch them. My husband and I have been putting them on TV like while we work around the house, and it's because it's cool to see them interact. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Just like this.
Well, thanks for sharing.
But watch out for the sperm count. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it. It's pretty scary.
You know what's funny is I wonder if I've read somewhere about like all the identical twins popping out like they're gumballs or something.
Whatever. Kind of do pop out.
Yeah, but like, there's like the highest amount of identical twins in like ever recorded in history. And I wonder if it has something to do with like, the sperm count going depleted more and like all that stuff affecting
something. Well, because it has to affect women too. That was just what was affecting males through all this plastic. It really affects hormonal balance too, with growing up and all that stuff. And
wasn't there a movie about that where all the women couldn't have children anymore or something?
Oh yeah, or do you watch Handmaid's Tale? It's about to be Handmaid's Tale in this bitch. I always wondered like how that was even possible, and then I listened to this podcast and I was like, oh my god, that's how it's possible. It was really scary, and the fact that nobody is like talking about it is so crazy because there's so much infertility happening that affects all communities. We all have friends who have gone through IVF and this and that. It's like astronomical the amount that's having to happen. That's so weird. I got pregnant with twins and I lost both of them, and twins don't even run in our family. So it was just like, it's just really interesting, and that affects every community everywhere.
Yeah, and I love like bringing up like things going on too, not to like complain or talk about stuff like that, but it's more or less if I think that's why video advertising and podcasts and YouTube is so great, and Netflix, because it gives everyone a voice. And ignorance, choosing to not believe in something or to say somebody's wrong and not research it is really ignorance, because there's so much research now. You literally have access to anything you want to know. You no longer need a college, and they say that we drive around enough where you can do a 4-year degree in like, I don't know, I think my wife told me it was like 12 months or something, or some crazy amount where.
Yeah, that's insane. Oh my God. I tell the kids I work with now, because I keep saying kids, they're awesome. They're like, they just graduated high school. I'm like, they're kind of in this thing. I was like, honestly, if I were you guys, because they ask me sometimes for advice, I'm not just like unsoliciting, like, don't go to college. I was like, wait till it's like in person. Like, you don't want this online, impersonal type thing. That's not, people shouldn't learn that way. It's cool if you can, if you choose to, but you should at least not have to pay, the exact same amount of money to go to college. Or
people need,
and I feel like there are so many ways. Like life experience is so much more important than I felt for college. Like because I was not a doctor, I'm not an engineer, so I didn't go for like this specific thing. I don't know. I just feel like anymore it's like people are just jammed down your throat that it's necessary, and to succeed you have to do this thing, and it's just like so wrong,
Yeah. Sam, I love talking about all this stuff. I can go on forever. We were in the lightning round.
What time is it? Oh my God.
We were in the lightning round, but I'll skip ahead to last question. What is one question I should have asked you, and what's your answer?
Oh, God. And that's the end? I don't know. Will I have more children? No, my husband had a vasectomy.
Oh.
And so everyone knows you have to expel 30 to 40 loads for that to take into account. So everyone know that. When you get a vasectomy, it doesn't take right away. Wow. Put a dry erase board by the shower, one by one, and get those babies out of there. Shower for a year.
Sam, we got to have you back on. We got to do like a coffee hour or something. I would love to be on your guys' thing every now and then.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I get it set up. Thank you I appreciate you reaching out. That was so awesome.
Very cool.
And thanks for being patient with me. I am like here, there, everywhere with my 2 kids, my 2 dogs, and, whatever. So,
well, one of our core values in our company is to be real. And I think I just love talking to people, just being authentic and saying, look, this is me. You're going to like it or you're not going to like it. That's, it's on you. Because a lot of times we feel like we have to be, oh, wait, I just heard it yesterday. It's, I think I am what you think I think I am what I think you think I am. Does that make sense? I think I am what I think you think I am.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense? So like a lot of times we like have this perception of like who we are based on what we think other people think about us. And sometimes we just have to let go of all that stuff and say, you know what? this is me, and my mind's all over the place. And, but that's how stuff gets done. And I think as entrepreneurs, that's like our secret weapon that we think is a bad thing. But if we just unlock that and just say, hey, let's just go.
Just be ready to be wrong. Like, I'm here to be wrong. I don't care if people correct me. I've been through lots of therapy. That was my choice. But I'm one of those people who thinks everybody should go through cognitive therapy. It's amazing. I don't know. It's just like the jig is up after a while. You just don't care.
Different perspectives, Sam, right? Like, I mean, the most powerful people in the world all have like their cabinet of people that they go to, and you need that in your life. You need people in your life that support you and offer perspectives, and instead of like taking it as criticism, take it not even constructive criticism. That's BS. It's perspective, right? It's just hearing different options because there's no finish line. You know what I mean? We're all gonna end up in the same place. Not to be grim or rude, but it's enjoying.
No, it's a race to the middle. Does everyone realize it's the race to the middle? We're just like, we are pack animals. Traditionally, we are cave-dwelling pack animals our existence survives on being around each other, whether we like it or not. So everyone needs to stop being a dick and just like be nice to. Everyone was like, "Oh, COVID is going to make everyone so nice," and it made people just like a little angrier and a little more.
Because they cut people off from each other,
Yeah, let's get it going. Let's be communities again. Let's hang out again. Let's help each other instead of criticize. Let's like literally build people up instead of being like, oh, that's a dumb idea. It's like just help one another. Everyone should be nice to one another. Can we just start there?
Yeah, definitely. And I had to learn too for myself when I get offended over something or I get upset over thinking someone else should say, think, or be someone else the way I think they should be, and I get mad about it. I have to remember, like, people have their own walks of life. They do their own stuff, and they say, like, if you put your shit in the middle of the table, you're going to take your shit back because it's after you see everyone else's, so it's like, love all this, Sam. I know.
The 4 Agreements. Have you ever read the 4 Agreements? That's the last one I'll send you. It's right on top.
What's that?
It's a book. It's awesome. It's like literally just what you're saying. It's a short, quick. It's the Toltec, TOLTC. Read it. It's so awesome. It's a quick read, and it's going to like literally support everything you just said.
All right. Sounds good. We got a lot of good stuff in here, guys. We're going to put some notes down below for you. Please like, subscribe, share. If you have ideas or a business or something that you want to get involved with this area, please reach out, and we'll love to have you on the show. just to mention too, we are sponsored by Urban Float. Urban Float, if you're looking for a new way to have therapy, definitely check out Urban Float in Rehoboth, where you sit on 1,200 pounds of Epsom salt.
That's supposed to be so cool. Oh my God, watch a documentary on that. That is supposed to be awesome.
Dream pods where you just detach from life and you're floating in space, and it's really cool.
Cool. What a cool sponsor.
Have you heard of float therapy? Holy cow, this is like the biggest secret in America, I think the world. Famous people, athletes, all these people are doing float therapy, and it's called Urban Float in Rehoboth. You can go to urbanfloat.com, click on Rehoboth, and check out these guys. You're basically sitting on 1,200 pounds of Epsom salt. Everything just feels so amazing, and you're on this weightless, de-stressing pod for an hour. I love it. You get a discount your first time. You can also let them know that you're from 302 Lifestyle. Check them out, guys. Sponsored by Urban Float.
Yeah, very cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks you again, Sam, and thank you everybody for listening. Keep living the 302 lifestyle. Thanks.
Wish you could spend more time having fun and less time with chores? Go to 302beachtalk.com to get $20 off a home cleaning. You'll be entered to win a completely free cleaning. Eat, play, serve. Sponsored by That Guy with a Broom.